Hi, Big Tractor Power fans. Many of you have been eager and interested in seeing and learning more about the Fendt Ideal Combine, first introduced by AGCO to the North American market in the fall of 2018. As the 2019 harvest season goes into full swing, I thought this would be a good time to take an in-depth look at this big new combine. I had the opportunity to visit with Caleb Slater, AGCO's North American Marketing Manager for Harvesting, at the 2019 National Farm Machinery Show. Caleb was able to give me an in-depth walk-around tour of the big Fendt Ideal Combine. We took a look at this new Axial Combine's rotor and threshing system, as well as climbing up on the engine platform to talk about the Class 7, Class 8, and Class 9 Ideal Combines available from Fendt. They range from 392 to 564 horsepower. These Ideal Combines are equipped with 350 to 485 bushel grain tanks. They are available with 31 foot to 34 feet 7-inch unloading augers, capable of moving grain out at 4 bushels to 6 bushels per second. We'll also climb up in the cab and visit with Caleb about all the technology that operates the Fendt Ideal Combine. We'll talk about the tracks and tire options, as well as taking a look at the new 16-row corn header that is available for the Fendt Ideal Combine. So let's go visit with Caleb at the National Farm Machinery Show to see this very impressive harvesting machine. Big Tractor Power is here with Caleb Slater, the North America Marketing Manager for Harvesting at AGCO, and we're taking a look at the Fendt Ideal Combine. This combine's gotten a lot of buzz in the industry, and it's really exciting to see it here at the 2019 National Farm Machinery Show. Caleb, what can you tell us about it when we're kind of looking at the spec sheet here, and we're going to kind of walk around the combine and learn a little bit more about it?
Yeah, you're exactly right about the buzz. I mean, you can see right here, there's a lot of people that are interested, a lot of people that are wanting to know what's all about this Fendt Ideal Combine. We launched it last year in June in the Regina at the Canadian Farm Progress Show. Then we launched it again at Farm Progress Show in Boone, Iowa, and now we're launching it here to give people the information behind what design of this machine did we come up with and why did we do it that way. So the Fendt Ideal was a completely clean sheet of design when we started. That means we had no preconceived notions. That means we didn't have a foundation that was built upon something that came before. What we used as the foundation to build this machine is our voice of customer. So we went out and we did a massive voice of customer campaign, going out and talking to those customers, making sure that we understood not what they wanted today, but what they wanted tomorrow. What is going to make your operation more efficient? So you'll see that built into our machine with the Streamer 6.0, 6 bushel per second unload. You'll see it with the dual helix rotor and how we process our crop. You'll see it with our track ride track system. All of these things came from our customers. So the foundation of the Fendt Ideal Combine, from our engineering standpoint, was really our customers all around the globe telling us what they needed in a machine.
Well, they're impressive, and I can't wait to learn more about it. And while we're here, I guess, can we talk about the 3 different models that are available for this machine?
Yes, definitely. So we have the Ideal 7, the Ideal 8, and the Ideal 9. Those are Class 7, 8, and 9 respectively. You see right out of the gate we have a 392 horsepower in the Class 7. That's going to be utilizing our AGCO power engine. 470 and 564 in the Class 8 and 9, and that's using the MAN engine, the same engine that we utilize in our Fendt 1000 tractors. You also see the big difference between a Class 7 and a Class 8 and 9 is that it's a single versus dual rotor. So dual rotors in the Class 8 and 9, single rotor, the same rotor that we're utilizing in a Class 8 and 9, just only one of them in the Class 7.
Okay.
Then we look at down here with a grain bin capacity, standard on our Class 9 is that 485 and 6 bushel per second, and that's an option on both the 7 and the 8, giving us the opportunity to have the industry leading on all of our class sizes when it comes to this machine.
Well, that's going to move a lot of grain out in the field, and I guess we'll head over maybe talk about the rotor and look at the engine and some of the other components.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Caleb, we're standing here with the Fendt Ideal rotary system. What can you tell us about its advantages and how it's set up?
Yeah, so right now we're at the National Farm Machinery Show. We do have the Fendt Ideal processor behind us. We call it the dual helix processor. And the reason we call it that is because of the design and the fact that it's a 2-rotor design. So when you look at the dual helix processor, the reason we call it the helix is you can notice from our separation tines how they're in a configured manner. Now what that allows us to do is that allows us to have very good separation while still being gentle on the crop mat, the grain, and the straw. So when you look at an axial rotor, typically you think about straw quality. It doesn't look as good as a conventional machine, but when you see the straw quality out the back of this machine, it is immaculate. It is beautiful. We're able to bale perfectly behind it because of the design. So you see right in the front here, well, that's where our inlet comes in, where we feed into our rotors. Then we go into our RAS bars that are in the straight bar configuration, no longer going into the segmented design.
So your RAS bar is this component right here?
Yes, yes. This is your RAS bar here. This is where your threshing is done. Then you're going down into your separation area. That separation area is extremely long. These are 16-foot long rotors. They're the longest in the industry. And the key idea behind that is we want to make sure that we're doing a good, effective job threshing, and also making sure that we have the separation to where we're holding that grain in the combine. We want to keep low loss levels and good grain quality, and that really helps us with these dual helix rotors. Then, as you look and you drop down into the cleaning shoe, this is what we call the ideal balance pans. These ideal balance pans are designed in order to control and guide the crop. So this is a concave shape, that is a convex shape. What it allows us to do is the threshing area, it's going to guide it to the center channels of our stratification pan. The separation area is guiding it to the outer channels of the stratification pan. And what that is allowing us to do is to present a nice even shoe load down to our chaffer and our sieve with multiple steps down, allowing us to have an air blast going through, making sure that we have good, clean grain quality and also low loss levels because of the design of the chaffer and sieve.
And so your air blast also helps just lift that crop material off the grain and...
Definitely. So we call this the cyclone cleaning fan. You can see all of our air paths and channels that it's going through, allowing it to lift that MOG, material other than grain, off of the crop mat through the chaffer and through the sieve, and then allowing that grain to drop down into the clean grain auger trough.
Well, it looks like a great design. I can't wait to see one of these out in the field and see the grain that's coming out of them.
We've been out in the field already past harvest. We were doing demonstrations. We're going to be doing a lot of demonstrations here in 2019. And what we found is the impressive capability of this machine when it comes to cleaning, when it comes to low loss levels. And being in those demonstrations, we've seen that this can make a big impact to our customers' operations.
Sounds good.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
All right, so we're up in the engine compartment and a lot of stuff happening up here. What kind of engine does this machine run?
So that's a great question. What we're doing is in the Class 7, we're running an AGCO Power, the same engine that we're running in our Gleaner S9s, our Massey Ferguson 9505 series.
So is that the 7-cylinder engine?
The 7-cylinder engine.
You always get a lot of questions. People don't see a lot of 7-cylinder engines.
That's right. So we still have that same engine in our Class 7 combine. In the Class 8 and 9 combine with the Fendt Ideal, what we're utilizing is an MAN engine. It's in the Class 8, this one right here is a 12.4. It's 470 horsepower rated. It's the same engine that we're utilizing in our Fendt 1000 tractors. So those famous tractors that are out there, the world's largest fixed frame tractor, same engine that we put in that, and we're seeing a lot of benefits from a fuel consumption standpoint, from a power standpoint, making sure that we have good recovery, good capacity when it comes to this machine. The other key thing that I want to point out while we're up here is what's right behind me, and that's that grain bin. This is a 485 bushel grain bin. 485. Now that seems massive.
That's bigger than a grain cart about 30 years ago.
I mean, but when you look at why we did it that way, because it's also paired with this large unload auger, which will unload at 6 bushels per second. Both of these are industry leading. Both of them can change an operation dynamic very quickly. We've seen it when we've been out in the field. When you go out there, we talk about total infield efficiency. Everybody wants to talk about capacity and the fact that, you want to hit a bushel per hour. But the bushel per hour is fantastic. if you can get the grain away from the combine. If you have to stop because your grain bin capacity is too low, or you're not able to unload fast enough, you're not able to be as efficient. So total infield efficiency is very, very key when we start talking about how we handle grain handling. So now when you pair the 485 bushel grain bin with the 6 bushel per second unload, we've been in operations where we've taken a cart, a full tractor and cart, out of the operation because they were able to manage it because of how quickly we were able to cycle through our unload times.
So I know I've seen in like Class 9 combines, 400 bushel tank, 4 bushels per second, they're doing about 5,000 bushels an hour in corn. What kind of capacity is this putting out?
I mean, so when you're looking at capacity, that's very key, right? When you're looking at how the machine threshes and separates a crop, we're anywhere from 5,500 to 6,000, and it's always given the conditions, right? That's very key. But overall, because of that capacity within the machine paired with the capacity of our grain handling, that's where we get our total infield efficiency that puts us a step above everybody else.
So I guess like the T9, that's a Class 9 machine, or is that bigger than 9 now?
So we have a 9T, and that means it's a track unit. So our delineation is a Class 8 is just an 8. We made it simple for everybody. We don't have random numbers, just an 8. 8T means that it's a track system. A 9 is a Class 9. That's going to be 564 horse from a rated standpoint. It's also got a little bit of a longer shoe. That's how we have our differentiation in there. And then that one's also got a 9T, which is our track system as well, which you'll see over here.
Very good. And I guess we'll just take a quick look at the MAN engine.
Yep.
So I know I've gotten to see a lot of the Challenger 1000s, and farmers are very impressed by the fuel efficiency.
Definitely.
So here we can get a look at the engine here and how it's mounted into the combine. Very easy to get to and service. So you also have some other technology that goes along with the MA engine.
That's right. When it comes into efficiency, we paired what we call the AirSense with the MAN engine. And the AirSense is essentially the same system that we have on a Gleaner Super Series called the Smart Cooling. So AirSense is using variable pitch in order to make sure that we're managing our airflow over our engine, getting to the optimum level to cool it, while still being able to reverse and make sure that we have that clean radiator so we're not changing air filters all the time.
I know that when I film the Massey combines and the Gleaners, about every 15 minutes you see that big burst of dust and a big sound coming out of it, and very efficient. Good way to keep the machine cool and working through the day.
Definitely is.
So I know a lot of the big Class 8 and 9 machines are on the market today are right around 28, 29 feet for that unloading auger to clear these bigger headers. What is the Ideal combines
Yeah,
range?
so we have a couple of options. This one that we have currently on our machine is 34.7 foot, making sure that we can reach a good distance to that grain cart, making sure that those larger heads, because this is such a high capacity machine, we're bringing in larger heads to put on them. We want to make sure that we have the capability to clear that grain cart. We also have a 31 foot option that will allow us to have that medium range as well. So
if that's your medium, that's a lot bigger than the other machines out there. And we can look at this 34 foot. It's very handy when you're running a 16 row corn head, or which is 40 feet, or a 45 foot wide draper head. All right, we're going to step into the cab here with Cal. It looks very roomy. Lots of good features to learn about. So this probably has, being a Fendt product, there's got to be a lot of advanced technology to take a look at here.
There is. So when you look at, we call this the Vision cab. And this is actually the same cab that we have on the Gleaner Combine. It's the same cab that we have on the SP Windrower. We're starting to see that Fendt technology within AGCO being built into the common architecture of our machines. That way when you get in from one machine to another, you have the same look, the same feel. And that way it's an easy learning curve in order to operate the equipment. So when you look at what we have going on in the Vision cab, right out of the gate, you can see that you have great visibility, a good panoramic view. There's a lot of, when you look at this head and you look at how many interruptions you have between end to end, this is a 16 row head, and you can see that you have great visibility all the way through. The other key thing when it comes to this machine is going to be the armrest. This is right here is our Vario terminal. It's going to give you all of your persistent information, making sure that you have everything at your fingertips. We also have a D zone here that's going to give you your fuel level, your def level, your loss levels, making it so you can go and change any of these areas in order to give you the information you require.
So I got to drive a Fendt 514 this year with a loader, and I have to say the terminal looks very familiar from that experience.
Very familiar, very familiar. You'll see this in our Fendt 1000s, in our Gleaner combines, all across our platforms right now, because this is really where we see the benefit of being ease of use, intuitive for our operators. Then when you start looking at the actual hydro handle itself, there's a lot of features on here that are extremely important when it comes to being more effective and more efficient. We talk about at a touch of a fingertip, right? So you have your auto header height control, you have your auto guidance control, you have your headland management. All of those buttons are right here. You also have what we call the return to center style joystick. So this hydro is not a Z pattern like you would see in other pieces of equipment. It is return to center. So you press it forward to increase your speed, and then you can take your hand off and you will maintain that speed. Same with reducing speed. You pull it backwards, it'll reduce speed. You also have your stop, which is pulling it over to the left. And then you also have what we call our ideal harvest mode, which is where you pull it to the right and it starts the automation that's built into the machine. So there's a lot of, it's very easy to control, all right here, right at your hand. And you also have a new unload type of engage. This is called the click wheel unload. So what you'll do is you'll swipe out, your unload auger will essentially move to the unload position. You will click the wheel itself, that will start the unload, and if you're trying to top off a grain cart, move to a corner, you can actually adjust the position of that auger by rotating this click wheel, making it very intuitive and very easy to do.
That's extremely handy and efficient. And I imagine, I'm looking up here, you've got cameras, so that this would be where you could watch where you're topping things off or getting into that corner.
Yep, so you have a quad cam display here. This allows you to see cameras that are placed throughout the machine. The other thing that we have that's included in our Deluxe or our Pro cab package is what we call a bird's eye cam. Now, I don't think we have it up and running on this machine at the show, but the bird's eye cam is essentially what you see in automotive feature today, where you can see 360 degrees all the way around the machine, giving you a visual on what's going on beside you, behind you, and in front of you all at one time.
So where's the camera mounted for that?
So they're mounted all around the sides of the machine.
Okay.
So when we start talking about that bird's eye view, when you start talking about putting it into a shed and making sure that you're safe in all conditions, you have room and everywhere in order to maneuver it very well, it does a great job in that aspect.
Wow, that's amazing. So I guess this also has self-automation to adjust to crop conditions in the field and things like that?
So we have what we call the Ideal Harvest System. The Ideal Harvest System is a series of specialized sensors that are utilized to give us the information in order for us to be more efficient from a combine standpoint, to adjust automatically some of those key settings to make sure that you have better grain quality, lower loss levels, higher capacity, and that's all set towards a user's harvest strategy in our Smart Connect app that connects directly to the combine. So it's actually an iPad app. So you have an iPad interface we currently don't have right here, but it's over in the cab display in our Fendt Experience, and that allows us to not only run the automation, but also the key thing there is what we call visualization. Now, because of the way that we have built our sensor technology and have those specialized sensors throughout the machine, we're able to inform the operator of what's going on in real time. So it's no longer a situation where you have to go out and do a kill stall to see where your separation is coming out of your rotor, what your shoe load looks like. We're able to see that through the iPad app in the cab in real time, so we can make informed decisions to improve our productivity and improve our efficiency.
Very impressive.
Yeah, it really is.
And also, I guess, in addition to all that technology, you can also look out the back window here and see your 485 bushel bin.
That's right.
So, as far as like seeing the internal adjustments and things on the combine, can you actually have cameras built inside the machine as well, so you can see what's happening in the threshing as it goes?
So as far as the threshing, we don't have cameras in there, but we do have a camera in the
clean grain elevator. So that way we're able to take a snapshot of that grain sample to tell us how our grain quality is from a cracks and splits, from a MOG standpoint or material other than grain, making sure that we're getting the best quality sample into the grain bin.
Well, that'll be great to actually experience and see that out in the field.
That's right, that's right.
Caleb, you had mentioned when we were looking at the engine about the 9T, 8T models, that they're simple 7, 8, 9, and then add a T if you have tracks. What kind of track system is AGCO using on the Ideal Combine?
So that's a great question. The key thing here is that when we look at all of the design around this machine, what we utilize is the expertise within AGCO globally to design those key functions. So where we found our expertise when it comes to track system is, of course, Jackson, Minnesota, where we have the engineers that have designed the Challenger track system that we're famous for all around North America. So we use their expertise, their thousands and thousands of hours of expertise, field test time, to develop a track system that was designed specifically for the Fendt Ideal Combine, and that's our Track Ride track system. It's the largest footprint in the industry. It's got triangular suspension to make sure that we have the best ride in the industry, and it's really designed for this combine to give it the most optimum ride in the field and limit the compaction, because compaction and harvesting is still a key issue that we want to mitigate and make sure that we're doing the right thing. Also, when it comes to getting in the field when others can't, the track system really helps that, especially in the harvest that we had this past year where every place was wet. So it's a great feature, and it's once again available on all Class 7, 8, and 9 machines.
So we've looked at the combine, and at 485 bushels, 6 bushels per second, that's a lot of grain, so we need a way to collect it. And you have the Fendt 3316 command head here. Fendt's not a name that we're often used to seeing on a corn head, but it's something I think people are going to be seeing a lot more of.
Yeah, so the Command Series corn head, the Fendt Command Series corn head, is the same corn head that we've utilized on Gleaner, on Massey Ferguson. It's a fantastic corn head when it comes to making sure that we have that high-speed harvesting capability, those low loss levels from the reduction of ear bounce and butt shelling. But when you look at this head, the key thing here is it's 16 rows. This is brand new for us. We launched it last year in Farm Progress Show in Boone, Iowa. And 16 rows is to match our Class 9 combine. We want to make sure that with that capacity of that machine, we want to be able to feed the beast, right? So giving the amount of material in, presenting that to the rotors, making sure that we can thresh and separate a large amount of grain efficiently, effectively, and make sure that we're doing the right thing for operations.
Well, I know with the wet harvest that we had in 2018, people think, oh, 16 row, that's so big, but when you're trying to move corn, you can't have enough rows sometimes, so it's nice to see this from AGCO.
That's exactly right. I mean, when you look at what you can do with you talk about an 8 row versus a 12 row, and you see that productivity jump. You talk about 8 row to 16 row or 12 row to 16 row, it makes a big difference. And you talk about a storm coming in and it might get wet, you could be able to get through a lot of acres very quickly.
So we just take a quick look here, I guess, at the row units. And
so once again, our row units, they are designed in-house from AGCO. A couple of the key things that we have on this row unit is you look at our deck plates. Our deck plates, they are designed in order to cradle the crop. We want to make sure that when that cob hits the deck plate, that it cradles it so it's gentle, reduces the butt shell. Then you also have your point-to-point stalk rolls, making sure we're doing an effective job of pulling that stalk through the corn head, getting good residue management. You do have a chopping option on all 8, 12, and 16 row configurations. The other key thing when it comes to the corn head is what we've done with our design as far as the snouts and how we're utilizing the material and the functional architecture inside the corn head in order to make sure we're allowing that crop mat or that crop to be directed into the corn head. So for example, you have ear bounce. We want to make sure that we're guiding it, that we're controlling it. That's where command really comes in play. The other key feature on this corn head is we actually have pitch integrated into the corn head. So when you're in a situation where you have down corn, you can actually get underneath the stalk, allow it to ride up our long snouts, and do a very effective job in harvesting that down corn because of the Command Series.
No, I've seen it on the Gleaner combines, and it's a big saver. Well, sometimes you have just a little bit of down corn, you didn't have to think about a corn reel with one of these because it lifts it up.
That's exactly right.
Well, thank you for your time and walking around this machine, and I know people are excited to learn more about it, and so you'll be doing more demonstrations this year, letting people see it.
Yes, so 2019 for us, that's a big demo season. We want to get this combine out in a lot of different places, making sure that people are getting to see the impact that it can have on their operation. So for the customers that are watching, those folks that are interested, go to idealharvesting.com. You can sign up to be a part of the Ideal Elite, and then that'll get you the capability to understand if there's a demo opportunity in your area where you can see this combine in action.
Well, I'd say it's well worth the look, and look forward to seeing those demonstrations.
Well, I appreciate your time, definitely.
Thanks, Gil.
I hope that you've enjoyed taking an in-depth look at the Fendt Ideal Combine. I'm looking forward to getting out in the field with one of these machines in the fall and climbing up in the cab and seeing all this technology and harvesting capacity at work. If you'd like to see more videos like this one, I hope you'll consider subscribing to Big Tractor Power YouTube, where there are over 1,000 videos of farm machines in action. If you have any questions or thoughts about the video, please leave them in the comment section below, as I try to respond to every post that is made. If you would like to get a preview of what is coming up next on Big Tractor Power YouTube, I hope that you might check out Big Tractor Power Instagram, where I share pictures and short video clips of what is currently being filmed in the field. As always, thank you for watching.